on YouTube? Welcome back, it's Yums, and today we are going to talk about why your cover 4 absolutely sucks. But before we get into it, if I could ask you one quick favor, please slide down below me and smash that subscribe button. We are on the journey to 1,000 subscribers so that I can fulfill a childhood dream and do this full time. Let's get into it. The first thing you need to know about cover 4 quarters, palms, drop, any of it, is that it's actually not a zone defense. It's a match defense, meaning that it actually has man principles. So when you have your zone drops turned on, you're completely messing it up. This is the #1 problem that most players make when they're in any type of cover 4 defense, is that they actually have their man turned on. Let's jump into it. The next thing to understand about cover 4 defenses, match defenses in general, is that you cannot shade or change any of these underneath zones. These all have to stay the same. You can't change this purple. You can't change these hook curls. You can't change this purple. These guys all have to stay the same, meaning I can't user this guy and man him and do this. Okay? Because now, like I just said, we're not actually in zone. So we're not actually just leaving a gap in the zone. We're taking away principles of the match defense. Scarily enough, match defense is one of the few things in Madden that actually does work. So most people used to using a linebacker. Typically they would use it right here, right? The first tip I have for you, besides the two don'ts, is to actually user the safety back here. The reason being, the match principles are a lot easier to understand for what these 4 guys do. You're probably not going to mess that up as easily as these guys. And like I said, in Madden, the match actually works. These guys play what they're supposed to play. So if you understand the basics of what they're supposed to play and use it in the right situations, then it's going to be advantageous to you. But if you go ahead and hot route these underneath guys, or if you user this guy and don't hot route him, but you don't understand his responsibility, you can mess up the entire play. So let's get into tip number 2. Tip number 2 is that most players don't understand that these deep blue zones actually match. So these guys are also not in a zone. He's not going to go here and just sit. This guy is actually matching with this receiver, 14 right here. Meaning that your opponent can use this against you. So you need to understand this, because the #1 way to get cover 4 bombed is not understanding this and someone exploiting a drag. What do I mean by that? Let's go ahead and show that. So if I drag this guy, let's do this, right? So I have the slot dragged. You are gonna see this safety actually come cheat down and match on him, and we will be able to throw it over the top. Most people also don't understand about the cover 4 defense that the quarters actually match as well. So I'll explain the rules briefly for that, and they're going to be different for 2x2, bunch, etc. But the basic rules are that this guy is in man with the outside receiver, same with this guy, and then there's a plethora of rules and checks on who this guy is covering and who this guy is covering, but they are both in man coverage. As we've established, you know, they're in match, but really they have a man assignment. So what this means is that if you don't understand this, your opponent can actually start to exploit this pretty well. And they might do something like, let's say, just put our slot on a streak and keep that little skinny post underneath, and we'll go ahead and snap the ball, and you can see there's no one there to cover him. Now, why is that? Let's go back to the replay. And you can see that this guy is going to get matched vertically, both by this hook curl, by this quarter, and then by the, by the flat, and then also by the quarter. So he's going to pass him off, and you can see that this guy is covered, but you can see that this guy is actually not. So this guy is actually just not covered ever on the play. Because those quarters match, we also need to understand that people can exploit things like drags against us. So let me show something like that. See, I have 2 streaks and 2 drags out on the field, and we are still in the cover 4. And you'll see Gronk just doesn't get covered here. He's just not covered on the play at all. And that's again because we are in a match defense. And the principles, you can see this guy is actually caught looking at that slot receiver that he's supposed to guard. So he's looking at him, and then he just drops back to his spot because this guy actually cuts across the field. These hook curls don't pick him up either. So we actually have an open guy here, and we have a wide open streak down the field. So you can see that is another issue. A way to fix this, if you think your opponent might do this, well, first of all, we can user a safety like we talked about, but we can also go ahead and press Y. Press Y, Y again, then A and up on the left stick to put that guy in a deep half. We can adjust the deep blue zones, we just cannot adjust the underneath zones. So let's go ahead and play this out again, and you'll see that this time, it's not great. I probably could have thrown it earlier. It's still pretty open, but at least you're a little more bomb proof. In this instance, it's still going to be kind of open because of the fact that this tight end, they patched this, so he's running underneath, right? So he's late, and that's really going to be the issue there. But like I said, the biggest thing to understand here is that these quarters actually do match, so you can be exploited in a couple different ways because of that. Another instance where you can see this matching playing out is going to be here. I have set up for you. I motioned the bunch guy over, the far receiver over, and you can see he is just going to get over that, and there's not really going to be anyone on him. Reason being, again, that this guy initially is looking at Mike. So this guy is also trying to look at Mike. Now everything is messed up. Again, it could make several videos explaining the principles of match. I just want y'all to understand the basics of these zones match. So when you start screaming that the cover 4 is playing incorrectly, most likely the person you're playing against just understands more about match coverage than you. That's gonna do it for this video. If y'all do want a more advanced match coverage tutorial talking about some of the principles of the match, what matches win, what they do, all the advanced principles, make sure to let me know down in the comments. Make sure to smash that like button, and if you want to see more of me, you can always catch me live, twitch.tv/yums_95. I might be live right now. pop on over. We'll see you next time.